It has been a whopping 21 years since the release of the high-grade Psycho Gundam, and today we're going to be building the high-grade Psycho Gundam Mark II. Now, if you really want a masterclass in how much gunpla has changed over the ages, I recommend grabbing yourself a high-grade Psycho Gundam and the high-grade Psycho Gundam Mark II and build them back to back, because you will see just how much gunpla has evolved. Just to make this story short here, this kit is absolutely phenomenal. It's absolutely nothing like the original Psycho Gundam at all, and it's an incredibly fun build. I had a whole lot of fun. It takes a lot of time. It comes in a big box, and if you want a big box like this of your own, I got mine through Hobby Link Japan, so the link will be down there in the description. Now let's get right on into the build. When it comes to the unboxing of the high-grade Psycho Gundam Mark II, first off, this box is absolutely colossal. It's got a reinforced brown bottom, so not your usual white bottom box, which means there's a lot of hefty plastic inside of this. You're going to need a lot of space to build this, or some good runner organization. There is 23 runners in total for the Gundam itself, not including the multiple runners included for all of the beam effects, 4 runners for the included action base, and 2 runners for the smaller Witch from Mercury style smaller action bases for using the accessories with. There is a whole lot inside of it. There are stickers in here as well. These are only for on the verniers. They're just little black circles, as well as options for the eyes, but I will mention right now straight away the eyes are color separated, so they don't need to be used if you don't want to. When it comes to the build, the manual does say to start with the head, but I always like to start with the feet, so I've got the legs, then the waist, and the torso building up on the desk while I'm actually getting these parts snapped together. Now, I will mention, when it comes to some of these bigger kits, usually you'd have giant pieces on the runners, so even though it looked like a big box, there isn't really a whole lot of building going on inside of it. That is not the case with this Psycho Gundam Mark II. Even though there are occasional big parts here and there, each element of this build has tons of parts included, as well as incredible color separation. Like I mentioned, there are some stickers in here, but these are only the black circles from the verniers. Besides that, every color, the surface yellow and red detail all over the place, that is molded in and comes from below. Incredible. As for the legs in here, the color separation, like I mentioned, is fantastic. The articulation, as you'd expect with a bigger kit, is a little bit on the limited side, but not as limited as I was expecting. The knee bend is very nice, and we have a proper hip joint up here as well, so overall extremely nice. All of the verniers inside of this kit have at least 2 layers, that is the yellow internal section as well as the outer cup. The first one attaches onto the bottom of the foot just like so. There is no toe bend, as you can see, it's just one solid foot. The color separation then attaches in with the yellow parts either side of the foot. You build the joint, which is a simple side to side pivot, attaches in like so, attaches onto the foot like this, and then you start to build up some more color separation towards the tip of the toe. Once again yellow and a darker shade of purple. The top of the foot pops on, you pop that color separated bit on, as well as a bit of an ankle armor, and the foot is finished. Moving up the leg then, we don't have a full inner frame in here, but in a kind of technical sort of way. It does have a full frame, it's just not connected. You start with the knee section, it pops together in the usual kind of way. We've got a secondary aspect then, which does have a role later on in the transformation with this. Yes, it does have a transformation. Quite a few of these actual like internal structure parts that we're building up right now, these have to do mainly with the transformation as opposed to the normal articulation. This 3-piece joint here, that is the usual hip joint, but we do have a nice locking mechanism underneath, and we do have quite a few of these keyhole style locking mechanisms. From this point on, the left and the right leg are slightly different. We continue on with the bend of the knee. The knee does have 2 joints in it. The hip section we built earlier on then attaches into this sliding section right here, again for the transformation, and now we start building on the armor. We've got darker upper leg armor, a sliding mechanism in the front of that. The largest plates in this kit are these sections here for on the calf zone. These are what separate the left from the right leg. They're basically just mirrored versions of each other. Build up another vernier, this yellow color separation part, and then you attach both of those in and sandwich on the other side of the plate. There are some stickers then to attach. Once again, these are the black circles here, once again for inside of some verniers. The awesome color separation continues. We've got a red vent around back, a little bit of dark armor for above that, a red vent for the side, and then you build up 3 separate verniers for attaching onto the side of the leg. This is a kit with a whopping huge amount of verniers all over the place. The shin and knee armor are connected like so. You attach a back piece in, another vernier, and then it pops onto the front of the leg like so, and we are finished. So not a whole lot of building per se, definitely similar to a very detailed smaller high grade, but there's just something so fun about building it in an almost perfect grade size. Onto the waist. Moving up now into the waist, and we start off with this section right here. We've got this part which pops onto the back like so, I assume is part of the transformation, a cover for the action-based stand hole down here. The actual pegs for the hips is very unique. They're 2 mirrored aspects which just slot over each other like so. This part pops in underneath and locks them together. The actual hip joints then attach into the waist unit like so. The mirrored part attaches on like this. Again, we're building more nice twin layered verniers. They pop onto the back like so. Again, keyhole locking mechanism, aka you just slot them on, then turn them, and they lock into position. Next up, we've got the crotch armor section. It attaches on like so. We've got yellow color separation coming through from underneath, so no yellow stickers in here. Again, sandwich this piece on. The red color separation attaches on as a full layer, followed by the finishing piece for the front. Again, another twin layered vernier. Absolutely no attention to detail has been spared at all. When it comes to the front skirting flaps, again, you've got your red detail coming through from underneath, a joint which attaches onto the back section like so, and they sandwich together like this for a nice dual layered heavy armor look. Another vernier, this time it's just single layered in yellow with 1 sticker on it. The front skirtings attach via standard pegs, not ball joints, but they push in until they click into position. We've got another part which locks this whole front section in place, I assume again part of the transformation. The side skirtings have some very nice articulation aspects, so a 2-part joint for attaching them on. We've got this little section which flips out, again probably for the transformation, and then it all attaches together, and 2 simple verniers on the front and the back. These then attach on very nicely from above with a kind of barrel joint into this section here, which makes the upper part of the waist unit. We've got some sections of plastic then which will lock these into position, and then that just attaches onto the waist like so. That is pretty much it for the waist unit. There is a butt flap that we do throw on a little bit later on, and as for the legs, again keyhole joints, which mean you have to pop them on facing backwards like so, then rock them forward into position to lock them. So that does mean they won't pull off and out, well, without bringing them back up to the back again to remove them. Pretty cool. So jumping back in time a little bit to the Psycho Gundam, the standard version, the biggest letdown for me with that particular kit was the big old hollow torso. The waist unit and the actual body were stuck together in a kind of opening, floppy, hollow, nasty kind of thing. It was not cool. Basically, it was just part of an opening mechanism to allow everything to go inside for the transformation. It was really not premium. I guess it was what they could do at the time. Now this kit right here, this is insane. That is gone entirely, and this torso is incredibly designed. So many parts, full color separation, full transformation. Just like a lot of things in here, the neck attaches on in that kind of keyhole sort of way. You pop it on backwards, twist it around, it's locked in permanently. A neck cover goes over that, 2 color separated pieces in yellow. The neck continues with this little section right here, which has 2 ball joint articulated pipes that attach into it, and that then just pops into that clavicle zone we just finished. Next up, we've got the recessing neck mechanism to build. So we first have a little bit of a waist joint. The next section then just attaches in like so. You sandwich on the other side like this, and it's just a nice, perfect, tidy mechanism. Moving down the torso a little bit to the waist, it's 2 parts that attach together, and what we just built slides down into that. This simple yet amazing part separation continues. We've got a nice grey inner section, 2 flaps attach onto that. Both sides of the chest feature red color separated aspects which attach into the surface of those. They both attach onto that part we just built, and then we've got some more verniers. So that is fully cuffed, yellow on the inside, purple on the outside verniers. They pop into the chest belly section. This then attaches into another little outer section just like so. We've got some articulation in there as well, and it all sandwiches together with some more red color separation that attaches into it. If that wasn't enough, we've got those tiny little yellow triangles. I thought these would be stickers. No, full plastic color separation. This whole chest section then attaches into the body bit we just built already. A bit of armor comes down from above, some more yellow color separation for around front, tiny little purple piece to complete that, and then we've got the actual mechanism round back. These C-clip down and click into position. They're nice and strong, don't feel like they'll stress. And this is basically for an opening and closing chest mechanism. Next up then we've got the upper shoulders section kind of flap bits. We got pipes for on this piece, a bit that attaches in from underneath for that dual layered heavy armor, a section which pops in to give it a little bit of articulation, and yet another dual layered vernier. We've got one of these for both sides. These attach into a gray section just like so, and then you start finally piecing all those pieces together. The front, almost door-like chest section attaches on either side onto these sliding mechanism parts. The two shoulder aspects with the big flaps pop on either side like so. You lock the front in, build two shoulder joints which have 4 pieces a pop, so you get a lot of nice shoulder articulation. They slot on in like so, and then you slide on the back plates to lock their position. And if that was not impressive enough, we've got that whole mechanism round back. This starts off with 2 pipes which attach together like so. We've got color separation in yellow again recessed in so nicely. The big old pointy part attaches on like this and then gets sandwiched on from the other side. We have some more separation with this articulated part which is for hiding the head once it is transformed, and a nice big pop of red just slots on, holding that moving section in place. And there it is complete. The complete torso is super impressive. Not only do we have the opening chest segment, we also have fully articulated shoulder joints for the arms. These flaps up in the shoulders can move up and down so they don't get in the way of the arms. The neck is fully jointed as well and moves forward and back ever so slightly, and the same goes with the waist. So there is a lot of articulation in here, transforming elements, and one great thing about it, it's not just a big old hollow block. Moving now into the arms, and these are fully featured arms with a whole lot of articulation going on. The shoulder can move, upper bicep swivel, great elbow joint, and of course the hands have everything going on. So you've got your moving wrist and independently moving fingers. Only one joint per finger, so it does mean you can't actually make full fists, but you can make something quite similar. And you may recognize these from something else. These we did actually see before in another kit, which was the high-grade Typhoeus Gundam Chimera. This actually used these arms just in red, and they do vary ever so slightly. There are 2 or 3 parts which were used in that kit which aren't used in this one. So they have changed a little bit, but not in a huge sort of way. They're more for the transformation, I think. As for how these build up, we've got the usual kind of shoulder joint which is made out of 3 joints. Next up we build the shoulder plate. This is what differs from the Chimera a little bit because this little part attaches in. The other one was straight flat. Next up we've got a little bit of a vernier which attaches in like so, again just yellow with a sticker. We've got another one right here, yellow with a sticker, and these all attach together to start building up the shoulder. Now this is the exact same shoulder we would have seen in the Typhoeus Gundam Chimera. It's extremely detailed. Build up tons and tons of pieces, bits lock in, there's a transforming mechanism, bits flip around, this locking part locks everything into position, and then the front part pops on like so, for a very, very intricate shoulder build. From there on down, it stays just as detailed. We've got 3 parts to the upper arm, then you build the elbow joint into it with these 2 sections, front and back detailing. Next up, we've got this sliding mechanism. This is for hiding the 3mm joint you can use for attaching these arms onto action bases. This part, as well as another part, attach into the forearm for this nice transforming mechanism. A piece sandwiches all these pieces into place. This central dark purple aspect right here is different from the Typhoeus Gundam Chimera. That's another one of those kind of changed bits, as well as the red bit of detailing that pops into the back of it. Again, I think it's part of the transformation. From here on out, you just start layering on armor after armor after armor until the arm starts to look, well, pretty much like an arm. The forearm locks into the upper arm. We've got this little tab section here which attaches into one of the red panels, a red panel on one side, a red panel on the other side, and then it's time to build the hands. Again, you've got tons of parts per finger. The thumb has 2 aspects, so the only articulation is to the hand itself. As for the fingers, they're 3 parts apiece, but just one joint. They do have holes in the tips for using with beams, and the rear hand armor locks all the fingers into position. We've got a fully articulated wrist joint as well, so that's a hinge and a ball joint, and then it all attaches together like so. Again, one very detailed arm, and if you've built the Chimera, you know exactly what it's like. Compared to the OG Psycho Gundam, the biggest departure, well, besides the color, is the design of the head. this is one badass awesome head which almost has a little bit of a Zeta Gundam look to it. Now I will mention there are two heads included in here. This is the one we're going to build right now, which is the standard head, but there is also a destroyed version we'll be building in the accessories. So if you're wondering if you have to mod the head that's in here to get this particular look, or you have to choose which head out of the box, thankfully you don't. Both are here to build. The head starts off with, you guessed it, more dual layered verniers. So there is 3 per head, so that is 6 in total, but 3 on the head right here. We do have fully color separated eyes in here, that is in pink. So the stickers are a choice. You can choose whether to use them or actually have the nice color separated parts. For the reviews, I always go with the foil stickers because they just pop a little better on camera, but personally I always prefer the color separation. This black mask section of the head attaches into the red part, just like so. This attaches then into a nice gray section which has some cool, almost googly eye parts, which I assume are the eye sensors in underneath. The rear armor attaches onto the head, followed by the side armor. You attach the neck joint into this, so not only do we have the ball joint of the actual neck and the body, there is a hinge joint in the neck itself. This sandwiches into position with the other side of the head. The front armor of the head then fits onto that. The V-fin in here is 2 independent sections. Now I will mention I did cut off the safety flags in here just to get that nice point on it. And then finally you attach on the front head camera section, which does have a tiny, beautiful little red piece in the front of it. Again, color separation out the ass with this kit. This looks incredible. Again, I would say it does look better without the stickers. It's just stickers tend to look better in video. So the final bit of the build of the Gundam itself is the backpack. So you have to build 2 of these and they are identical to each other. So we've got this ball jointed aspect in grey which attaches between 2 big red sections. Once again you have to build yourself a vernier here, that is the yellow into the purple, again fully color separated. Then you pop this whole part into a big purple plate, attaching another grey technical looking aspect, pop the other side of the plate on to fully enclose this booster, and then you've got a grand total of 4 more of these verniers to build, 2 per backpack piece, which attach on just like so. Then you get that slapped onto the back of the Gundam like this. There is also a butt flap too, which you need to pop on, and that is it complete. Anyway, there we go. That is the Psycho Gundam Mark II finished. An absolutely incredible build. When it comes to high grades, there really isn't much like this. Of course, last year's high grade Destroy Gundam would be the kit that has the most in common with this. It's big, it's made out of modern parts, and it's fully color separated for the most part. But when it came to the anime Gundam Zeta, the designs were absolutely off the charts, and the amount of detail in this definitely does eclipse something like the Destroy Gundam, and all of it is in perfect color separation. Fantastic, but we're not finished with the build just yet. There's also a nice array of accessories too. Let's check them out. So the first of the accessories in here we have is the shield. So this is made up again out of 2 identical aspects. These 2 big plates sandwiched together, 2 grey aspects attached together just like so, and then you pop in this little joint part, which basically attaches 2 halves together. Next up we've got this part here which attaches the purple part we built with the grey part, and the same happens on the other side to give it a little bit of a hinge. Next up we build the second part of the shield, which is a darker purple section attaching into a lighter purple section, nice and thick armor looking, and that just pops onto the other side, just like so. You do have 2 of these, they've got a little bit of opening articulation to them, and then next up you build the joint. Again, this is a very nice detailed joint. It's made up of 3 sections to the actual kind of arm section itself, and then that keyholes, like we've seen with everything so far, into this almost claw-like aspect, twisted around to lock it, and that pops in to give the attachment point for onto the arm. Big, massive, huge shield. Next up in here we've got my favorite addition to this kit, and that is the alternate head. This builds up pretty much identically to what we would have seen with this standard head, except it's missing half of the armor. Everything builds up the same, you can choose whether to use the eye sticker or not. This time I decided not to, just so you can see what a head looks like without the sticker. The detail is ridiculously good. I mean, for a damaged head, this is the best I've ever seen coming out of a model kit. Again, everything builds up the same, we've got wires hanging out, and it looks so good once finished. We do have a bit of a melted V-fin on this as well, and the same level of detail when it comes to the head camera on here. You got a neck piece too, and overall, beautiful. Next up, it's time to go full production line mode because it's time to build the reflector bits. Now these come as 2 aspects per piece, and there's 10 pieces in total in here. And that's 10 of each kind, so there is 20 to build. Next up then we've got the wires from the arms. These are nice, thick, perfect wires. They're very, very nice. We've got a front end and a back end to these. You just slot the wire through them, bend it around just like so it can lock into position, and then pop the top on. This is what they look like finished, and you've got one per arm. Next up in here you've got an absolute full action base 4, I think it is, the one with the 3 hexagonal base sections. Now I don't think this is ever going to hold this kit in the air. I think it's just for keeping it there, even though the balance is very perfect on this already, so it's not going to fall, but this is included. Also included is 2 of the Witch from Mercury kind of smaller stand runners, so you can build up various different display setups for using with the included bits. I'm just going to go with this one right here, which is in the manual, which kind of has them flying either side of the unit just like so. So I built it up exactly like that, and that's the one I'm going to be using in the review. But you can use all the long or short stands in whatever kind of combo you want, but you do only have 4 bits for attaching onto the ground, 4 actual stand pieces, which can be combined together into 2. But yeah, that is it. So without any further ado, there is the high-grade Psycho Gundam Mark II in all of its fully color-separated glory. This is so far removed from the high-grade Psycho Gundam from 20 years ago. It's a whole different beast, and it really has shown just how far Bandai has come along with its kits. Everything in here is absolutely color-separated besides the black circles. It's a fully involved build, and it took quite a long time to do. Not as much time as a perfect grade, which it's almost the size of, but it's disguised the fact that a lot of it is quite simple very well by having tons and tons of surface detail. Actually, to say some of it is simple is an, well, absolute disservice. It's got a full transformation and everything that I'm still yet to try out. Anyway, that is what it looks like out of box. It looks absolutely glorious. It looks like nothing else, and the colors are spectacular. Again, this video right here would not have been possible without those awesome people over at HobbyLink Japan. As always, thank you as well so much for watching. If you want something answered in the review, drop it down there in the comments, and if I can get to it, I will get to it. And as always, I will see you next time. As always, I cannot finish this video right here without thanking every single one of you guys for watching, and special thanks to those who support me on both the channel memberships as well as on Patreon, including Simon, Scotty Thomas, Abraxas, Orgy59061, Joe, Vanfon, and Caleb Engelhart.